Joe Biden recently commuted the sentences of over 1,500 people and pardoned 39 non-violent criminals. We're going to go into this article here. Biden's big clemency move and a prisoner swap with China. There's been some misinformation about some of the people he commuted the sentences for, some people he pardoned. There's been some misinformation around that, so I wanted to get into that because I was fooled by some misinformation myself. So, President Joe Biden on December 12th announced a single-day record of 1,499 sentences commuted along with 39 pardons of non-violent offenders. Some critics later expressed outrage over what they said was the pardon of a Chinese spies and a offender. Evidently, the Biden administration believes child is non-violent. A December 12th Instagram post said, one of the non-violent prisoners now being released back into our society is convicted PDF Shamlin Jin. So this is what I initially saw. I thought he pardoned this individual. He did not pardon this individual. He did commute the sentence of, but there's more information behind that. We found multiple social media posts making similar claims about Biden's announcement, and Jin, a college student in Texas connected to China's Communist Party, who in July 2022 was sentenced to 8 years in prison for having more than 47,000 child images and videos on his computer. That is an insane amount. That's disgusting. Biden did commute Jin's sentence. Let me turn this down a little bit. Biden did commute Jin's sentence to time served, which is different from a pardon, which forgives a crime and restores a person's rights. But Jin's commutation was not related to Biden's December 12th announcement. There is evidence that Jin was part of the November prisoner swap with China to free U.S. citizens rather than a show of mercy by Biden. So that was the confusion there. A lot of people believed that he just pardoned this individual so that he can be back out on the streets in the United States. Thankfully, that is not the case. He is being sent back to China for a prisoner swap. Biden's December 12th announcement said he was commuting the sentence of nearly 1,500 people who had been in home confinement rather than prisons during the COVID-19 pandemic and who have successfully reintegrated into their families and communities, which seems fine if they've been out since COVID and they're not causing problems. I guess that's fine. The 39 pardons he also announced were granted to people convicted of nonviolent crimes, the White House said, which I went over that, and a lot of them are like tax fraud and like drug-related crimes, but some of the drug-related crimes, I'm not sure why they were pardoned for that, because some of them were pretty egregious, but we'll go into some of his pardons. Jin's name was not on the White House list of prisoners who were pardoned and had their sentences commuted that day. Jin's sentence was commuted November 22nd, along with two other Chinese nationals who were released and sent back to China as part of a November 27th prisoner swap in exchange for U.S. citizens Mark Swidan, Kai Li, and Zhang Lueng, the Financial Times and the New York Times reported. So let me go into that real quick. So the disgusting individual that was had his sentence commuted, he is being sent back to China as a part of a prisoner swap. The other two individuals along with him, let's see, so these individuals are on their way back to the United States. Soon they'll return and be reunited with their families. That's great. We don't want them over in China. Let's see. President Biden raised the issue Americans wrongfully detained China directly with President Xi Jinping earlier this month when the two met during the APEC summit in Peru. Okay, so I guess they were discussing a prisoner swap. So Mr. Swidan had been detained since 2012 and was facing the death penalty after a conviction of narcotics trafficking. Swidan denied the charges, and the State Department classified him as wrongfully detained. Mark Li, 60, who had been detained or had been held in China since 2016 on what activists say were trumped-up spy charges, and Zhang Lueng, 78, who led several pro-Beijing groups in the United States. He was arrested in 2021 and sentenced to life in prison on espionage charges 2 years later. Okay, so these are the people that we traded the individual for, the individual that had 47,000 child images and video. This is who we traded it for. I'm not sure I agree with that, but if they're Americans, then I guess I'm happy to have them back. I just don't fully agree with how we got them back. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it says. Oh no, it doesn't say what the other individuals did. The other two individuals, I don't think their crimes are as serious as the individual with the child images. But let's see. Uh, NBC News cited an unnamed U.S. official who said Yang Junzhu, a Chinese Ministry of State Security Intelligence officer, and Ji Chaoquan, a Chinese national, who were two of the prisoners swapped. The New York Times and the Financial Times also cited those two prisoners, and also Jin. They referred to him as Jin Shenlin. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, Jin Shenlin is the one with all the abuse material. So I guess he gets to go back to China and do whatever he wants over there. Let's hope he never comes back. And if he does come back, he's sentenced to life in prison because he's a disgusting individual. Yeah, Joe Biden, let's go into some of his pardons. So here we have the .gov website. You can go look it up. Super easy to find. It was like the first search. It literally tells you like what they're convicted of and what they're pardoned for. And like what their sentences are and everything. But you can see here, like, there's basic ones like misprison of a felony, which is literally just concealing a felony that someone else committed, bank embezzlement, knowingly distributing cocaine. There's a lot of them in here that are, I was looking through Trump's pardon list as well, and I kind of feel like a reason should be given when you pardon someone. But I mean, whatever. A pardon's a pardon, I guess. You don't really need a reason. They're the president. But I would kind of like a reason for some of this. Like this one, like that's a lot. He just gets out on all those drug charges. There's a few people in here too that they have like just is pretty crazy. Like a lot of drug charges. He pardoned a lot of people of their drug charges. But one of the biggest pardons that a lot of people are still talking about would be his son, because you can see all these pardons here and they're very specific, right? You look at Trump's pardons, they're very specific. Now, if I go up here, look at this one. So I'll read this one. This is his son, Robert Hunter Biden, sentenced non-exact because he was never sentenced. And this is what he was pardoned for. For those offenses against the United States, which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1st, 2014, all the way to December 1st, 2024. So it doesn't even outline what crimes he committed. He just gets pardoned for a full 10-year period. I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty crazy. Just all known or unknown crimes. He's never been convicted of anything or sentenced anyway. But apparently you can pardon people just within a period. So anything he did within that time, he's pardoned. That's wow. I mean, I guess he could just come out and say everything he did now, right? At least that's what I would hope for. Come out and just, share everything. Be like, you know what? No repercussions. Let me just share everything. We should do that. But I think the real reason he did this and the specific date is because that's when Joe Biden was president, and that's when this was right around the time that he joined Burisma as well. So it's kind of a coincidence when you think about it. So we have the timeline here because the Hunter Biden laptop is confirmed as being real. So we have April 15th, 2014. This is someone from Burisma. They're meeting with Biden, and then you just go down. They have meetings, multiple meetings. They're trying to set up deals or whatever. We don't have the full information because we just have access to what was on the laptop. So these like email exchanges. And let's see. Vice President Joe Biden, he had 3 unofficial visits to Ukraine that he didn't need to go. So it's kind of weird why he went. Hunter Biden on May 12th, 2014 gets appointed to Burisma's board of directors. For what reason, I don't know. If I had to guess, it's for political reasons, which is basically what they say up here. I do believe we have to reach a reasonable balance. The political weight of our directors carefully and strategically. They basically wanted Hunter Biden for his political influences with his connections to his father. And then Vice President Joe Biden travels to Ukraine for a second time to attend inauguration of Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko. Devon Archer forwards an email to Hunter Biden discussing the needs to alert U.S. officials who might be able to influence Ukraine to not adopt such harmful measures. So there's this. We have the clip of Joe Biden. So we know that there's 10% for the big guy. And that's likely why Hunter Biden was pardoned, because once Trump gets into office and we start investigating this stuff, a lot of stuff's going to come out about Hunter Biden and his father. And of course, we have this clip from Joe Biden. I'm just going to let the clip play because I think it's important.
They may, I mean, I'll give you one concrete example. I was, not but it just happened to be, that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going to see our team, or others, and seeing that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to keep and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor. They did. So they said they were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be, I think it was about 6 hours. I said, leave it at 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. So they made genuine, substantial.
So Joe Biden basically threatens a foreign country to withhold foreign aid, which I don't agree with foreign aid being given to any country at the moment. But this foreign aid was already approved, and I'm pretty sure Congress approved it. So Joe Biden here is basically trying to supersede Congress and saying, well, I get to dictate whether or not it gets released. And the only way it's getting released is if you fire the prosecutor that is currently trying to investigate the corporation that my son works for. So, like, how is that not a conflict of interest? He directly gets the prosecutor fired that is investigating the company his son is now on the board of directors for. If that's not like obvious corruption, then I don't know what is. But that's about it. Hopefully when Trump gets into office, we can learn more about this, because obviously Joe Biden's not going to investigate himself. The government never investigates itself properly. But yeah, he pardoned 39 people. Most of them are drug dealers and stuff like that. Some of them are for tax evasion, which I support. We should pardon everyone of tax evasion. Excuse me. But I think the main reason he pardoned his son, and the reason it was so sweeping, is because he's trying to do it to protect himself, including but not limited to all offenses charged or prosecuted, including any that have resulted in convictions by special counsel David C. Weiss in docket number in the United States District Court of. So yeah, he just a blanket pardon. He just throws a blanket over that 10 years. It never happened. Insane. But for anyone that thinks that he just pardoned a disgusting individual with a bunch of child stuff on their hard drives, he didn't pardon them. He commuted their sentence, and it was part of a prisoner swap. I don't think I fully agree with it, but at least he's not being released into the United States. That I could be thankful for that in the least. But anyway, if you like the video, please share, subscribe. And if there's anything I can improve with my videos, please give me some feedback. Follow me over on X, and thank you for watching. Peace out.